things that we've been seeing from the United States of America is that obviously President Trump has been imposing tariffs onto various countries all over the world, which you will know that in South Africa, one of the things that we've been seeing because of the impact that we have started seeing about that 30% increase on tariffs that we were hit starting from the 1st of August, you know that South Africa has been looking for other opportunities outside to try to hedge, to try to curb against this major impact that we are seeing because of that 30% increase of tariffs. I mean, there are so many jobs that have been lost because of these 30% of tariffs that President Trump has hit South Africa with, and there are so many jobs that are also on the pipeline. So many people that could lose so many jobs because of these tariffs that President Trump has been imposing or has imposed to countries all over the world, including our country, which is something that is not good at all. I mean, part of the reason why I'm doing this video, I mean, you will know that obviously China is threatening also to put in some strict measures onto all of their exports. Whatever they are exporting into various countries, they want to put strict measures or restrict some of their exports of the stuff that they are producing or manufacturing in their country, which this could be worse or this could be bad, not just only for the US but also other countries. Who knows, even ourselves, we could face some heat because of these measures that China wants to put. But we know that our relationship, of course, with China, it's pretty solid. I think China, the reason why they are doing or they are announcing this new move which they want to make, they just want to show the US or the United States of America that, look, we've got options. They have got the upper hand because the rare earth minerals, which by the way, China in 2023, it is constitute 2/3 of the global rare earth minerals. This shows you the kind of strength that China currently has as compared or when you look into the two trades between especially US and China. US tried to play the game of imposing heavy tariffs or heavy restrictions onto like chips, semiconductors that are being used to build the technology, the AI that you are seeing right now in the world. But what did China do? China ended up restricting, in fact, their local companies from getting their chips or semiconductors from the US-based companies like Nvidia, Intel, and the others, but buy local produced chips in China. Huawei, you know that they are very big in chips right now in China. It's one of the companies that when you talk about some of the chips that you in your Intel, your Nvidia, they are making, Huawei right now has got similar chips, if not better, to those chips that some of the companies in China were getting from Nvidia before, which therefore it's no more longer necessary for Chinese companies to get chips from the US-based companies like Nvidia, like Intel, like AMD, because they are producing the same chips, if not better, than the chips that they used to get from the US, which is why now the cards that the US has at hand, it's not really, might not be as effective as they want to see. Cards that US think they have right now might not really do any harm to China's economy or to China as a whole, because China has got an upper hand. China right now, they are producing the most companies. Tech companies are producing their own chips. Those that cannot produce are not yet at the stage where they can produce their own chips. They are relying onto Huawei, which is something that is very good. But take a look at what China now has on US. There is no place globally where you can find strong magnets, right? And by strong magnets, the cars that probably some of you guys are driving, the strong magnets that are being used onto those cars are coming from China. And therefore, knowing that there are quite a number of car companies that are producing cars locally, that are producing cars in the US, that rely on those strong magnets, guess what will happen if China just decided to put a foot on brake and they don't supply those magnets or powerful magnets that they are supplying into the US companies? The US is going to struggle. Guess what is going to happen when they just stop all the rare earth minerals from being shipped, taking them into the US? It's going to be so bad. And therefore, my dear friends, this simply means that the US does not really have, I think, in my personal opinion, China has got an upper hand because they've got more cards to play than the kind of cards that the US have in their hands, right? And therefore, I think US better be smart. In fact, the US has already seen this because right now, as I'm doing this video, there was a video where President Trump was highlighting yesterday that, look, man, he's thinking, or he will be meeting with President Xi Jinping very soon. The very same Donald Trump who was saying maybe a couple of weeks, if not months, that he's not willing to meet with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Right now, he is saying he's open to meet the President of China, President Xi Jinping. And this might be because he realized that they don't have enough cards to play, because Trump's advisors, I think, some of them did not do a good job in terms of advising Trump, because the very same restrictions that they thought they were doing, or they were hitting China with, trying to slow them down, they are not working. China's economy continues to grow. China's economy continues to flourish regardless of whatever the US might try to do. And this is because China has been preparing for this for decades. China, you will know that last year, announced a stimulus, that a $1.4 trillion stimulus that they are going to use to fight Trump. They knew it was going to be tense even under the Trump administration, and therefore it is for that reason that they prepared that 1.4 trillion stimulus, which we have spoken a lot about on this channel. But here in South Africa now, this one, remember how we get affected by this is that when the two strongest economy in the world are fighting, we also feel the heat, because the restrictions, in as much as China wants to show that they've got the upper hand, we end up also feeling the heat at the bottom, because if the restrictions come, it's going to also affect us, right? Because, and the shortages of those rare earth minerals, the shortages of the exports that we are getting from either China or US, guess what it's going to do? It's going to make things in our country that we build, whatever we are building from those exports that we are getting from both countries, those things are going to grow, those things are going to go up in value, and they become expensive in a way that we cannot even afford them. So we will face, or we will all catch the flu, regardless if we are not being involved in the fight between the US and China, which is why all the countries all over the world, they just want, of course, we all want peace between the two countries, because, like I said, those are the two strongest economies. I mean, GDP for China, it's around what, 21, 22 trillion dollars. GDP for the US, I think it's just over $30 trillion. So they are not very far off from each other, and very soon we could see China taking over as the strongest economy in the world. And I think the sooner the Trump advisors picks up this, the better, because if they don't play their cards right with China, they might lose the grip very quickly, and this is not something that I think they want to. But anyways, I just thought I'd come and quickly give you that. Tell me what you think about this. This is important, guys, because I think I've tried to explain enough as to how does South Africa gets impacted between the two fights, between the US and China. And it's very important that we get these two countries, or these two countries can have peace talk, can sit down and talk, maybe, and have trade deals that could benefit everyone all over the world. But I think it's important that we highlight that whatever US has been doing, imposing tariffs onto countries all over the world, it's not good, man. I mean, look at the kind of impact that we are seeing into South Africa in terms of job losses. It's not good at all. But anyways, let us wait, let us see what transpires. I just thought I'd come and quickly give you these updates. Like this video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because it takes me some time to make videos like this, and all I ask from you is to give it a thumbs up, so that at least, obviously, YouTube can be able to spread out this information, because it is important that you know what is happening out there, not just in South Africa, because what could happen out there can have an impact, or big impact, into South Africa. And therefore, as a consumer in South Africa like you and me, we need to know this so that we can plan also of our future. It is very important, because who knows, you might lose your job, I might lose my job tomorrow, and if we don't have that picture already yet at the back of our minds, we might fail to plan ahead of what might be coming, which is why we need to stand firm and pray that, of course, the tensions between especially China and the US cools off, because it will be important for not only the two countries but for the entire world, right? Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. That is all from me, and God bless you all.